You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Al Mega, and welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today, folks, I'm honored. I am hosting one of my fellow Crusaders. I am so proud of this Crusader because he started his journey as a reviewer. Then he became a podcaster, creating amazing shows on Undercover Capes. And now he's doing the same for Comic Crusaders. But then, folks, my homie, my brother from another mother, took the step to become an independent comic creator. He created his own studio called TydalWave, Tydal Wave, right? All the way from Australia. Let me present to you my big homie from the Yeah Nah Wepa show, the host of Think Indie Podcast, the host of the Thundercast, the creator of Flipside Focus, my one and only good friend, Mr. Shane Dodgy Tydeman. What up, my big brother? How you doing?
I'm very good, and I really appreciate the intro. I'm not used to it. I'm still adjusting, and being on the other side of the fence, being the interviewee, not the ver, I'm actually kind of weird about it. But again, thank you for having me.
No problem, but my brother, thank you for taking time out of your busy day, because I know you do a lot as you manage other shows for Comic Crusaders, Undercover Capes, and doing what you do with this whole universe that you're creating within TydalWave. So just a kudos and a shout out to you. I love you, my brother. I'm very proud of you, for real, and I mean that 100. As my fellow co-host from Yeah Nah Wepa, I'm like, I couldn't be happier to see you connect with my big homie Paul, also another fellow creator from ASAP Imagination. So my kiddo, origin story for people that just don't know, and they cannot tell from the accent. Tell everybody where you from and how you got acclimated into this wonderful culture that is comics.
Well, okay, let me just start off. So I was born in Australia, moved to New Zealand when I was about, I think, 3 months old.
Wait a minute, I didn't know that. You lived in New Zealand for a minute?
Yeah, I grew up in NZ. My mum's a Kiwi. I have the a moko. So I'm originally from New Zealand.
That tattoo again, and what does that mean?
So this is a moko. So this is not just a leaf, as one would think so, because it is shaped like a silver fern, and a silver fern is like, you think of the Canadian maple leaf. So it's a leaf in New Zealand. If you flip it upside down, it's actually silver. One side green, underneath is silver. So it's a famous leaf in New Zealand. And if you can get a closer look there, so the tattoo artist drew it with a moko, with a Sharpie. He actually drew it with a Sharpie first, and then he went over it with the Indian ink. But it's not your traditional tattoo, because it comes more like a jackhammer type of incision. So it's very, very painful, because it's treated like a tribal. It's a tribal tattoo.
Was Dodgy in tears? Does that mean?
No, put it this way. People thought I had a broken arm. I was like this in a sling. I couldn't do anything with this arm. Yeah, it was so painful. For about a day or two, I looked like I had a broken arm. Yeah, so in telling my story, I moved back to Australia when I was 9 years old, because my father's mother was sick. And I think my mother wanted to move to Australia as well. So, yeah, we came to Australia when I was 9. And, it took a while to get rid of the accent. I still have a little bit of it. And people from New Zealand do pick it up, that I still carry a small inkling of the accent. But, yeah, no. And my introduction to comics is kind of weird, because I've known of Batman. I love the Batman movie, the 89 movie, Dick Tracy as well. I knew the Dick Tracy comic strips from the newspapers. And my very first comic, believe it or not, will be 30 years, I believe, this month.
Holy shit. You've been a fan for 30 years.
Yes, it will be 30
Show
years.
your age, kiddo.
Exactly, 30 years. My very first comic book, I got to give it a massive shout out, is Amazing Spider-Man number 361.
Oh, wow.
The first, and unfortunately, it's now a very hot book because it is the first appearance of Carnage. I would have rather it just be like a standard, no special character, no first app, because when I see that comic, like I just feel like I'm looking at like a baby photo or something, you know?
Yeah, I
It's
hear you, man. Is that
yeah,
my Chris star? Thank God I put that in the frame, and then I found the original run, so I have it twice now. My original and a nice looking copy.
yes, that's right. I kind of did the same, and I had Mark Bagley sign it, but I didn't have enough money to get him to not
A
write my
shout
name
out
on
to Big Paul right there, the CEO at ASAP Imagination, an amazing independent label right there. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Look, and yeah, first appearance of Carnage was my very first comic book. So people
Good
see it and
take.
go, oh, you know, it's a book that's going to make me lots of money if I flip it. First app of Carnage, but for me, it's more like that was my very first comic book, so it holds a lot more than
It's
just being
sentimental, brother. I feel you.
100%.
I feel
Yes.
it. So I gotta ask here, my brother. So when you laid eyes on that issue, was that something you found on your own, or did your parents take you someplace, or were you hanging out? How did you find this book that just turned you on to this culture?
Yeah, look, I remembered a kid in school. I think I was 13, so it was in year 7, so first year of high school. But I believe in the US you would call that middle school.
Yes.
So it was like that age. And I saw a kid a bit older, and he was like holding what looked like a black Spider-Man, and I was like, far out. I think I was just walking by, and I was just like, wow, a black Spider-Man, like that looks really cool.
Like, what the hell? Spider-Man has a
Yeah.
black suit?
Yeah, and then I heard the word Venom, and I just heard that, and that was it. And that was about a year later. I was with my mother. This was my first time picking up the comic book. I was with my mom, and she was doing her grocery shopping, and she said, "Oh, you know, just walk around, but don't get lost. You know, come back to me when you're done." And I was like looking around. I went into the newsagent or the newsstand, and I saw this comic book, and I had $1.80. That's how much the book was at the time. I remember exactly how much I paid for it. $1.80. I had, I wasn't spending all my lunch money, so I bought it, right? And I bought that in another comic book. I think it was Marvel Tales: The Adventures of Spider-Man, which had the old school, the OG Ditko art. And I remember reading both, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not a big fan of this comic book because it was Ditko." You know how you look at old grainy movies when you were when you're 12? Yeah, you have a different sort of appreciation to comic books or even to movies. You can't, like, when I was a kid, I could never watch a black and white TV show or movie. You know what I mean? But when you get older, you kind of like respect the art, and then you become a more appreciative, a bit more mature. So the same thing happened with Ditko, and I was like, oh, I'm not a big fan. But Mark Bagley's Spider-Man number 361, like, I was like, holy crap, that was like,
that's the OG, son.
I read that book front and back again. I read that book so many times.
You read the shit out of it. I mean,
pretty much.
It looks as bad as this, right? I mean, if you still kept it, this is my first. I mean, look at the spine on that shit. That shit is like.
I think mine was worse because I tried to restaple it because I wanted to make it last longer.
Oh my god, you restapled it on your own?
Yeah.
You crazy.
If someone were to buy that, they'll be like, no.
Like, they would, if they see that copy, they'll probably slap you like Will Smith did Chris Rock. My god.
Exactly. And I also ticked all the boxes of all the other comic books that you could buy because I thought it was like a checklist.
Oh my god.
Not a shipping list.
You did that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I would have killed you with the friends.
I told you, anyone who were to buy this thinking it was a hot book would kill me. But that's the thing. Crazy. I love that book so much.
All right. So talk about that. Your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a comic book fan, and now, when did the spark come for you? Oh, actually, even before we get into that, actually, did you find a what you will, a tribe or a clique in Australia that were fans of the same, or were you mostly like kind of lonely in your fandom?
I was a kind of a loner, but then the X-Men the animated series came out, and when X-Men the animated series came out, they actually had little adverts for comic book shops. And to be honest with you, bro,
Okay.
there were only like 3 in Sydney.
Oh
At the moment,
shit.
there are only 2 in Sydney. So at the
Oh.
time, right? At the time, they had an advertisement that, to buy comics, but I wasn't buying comic books from the comic book shop because, to be honest, I lived kind of far from where the
Okay.
shops were, or just had no idea. My parents wouldn't. I wouldn't go to my parents. Oh, can you take me to the comic book
And this
shop?
is
They'd be like,
pre-licensed years, I suppose, right?
yeah, and at the news agents, I just made it a habit of every weekend I just visit the news agent because when the time came, every Saturday morning was like it was like heaven just.
Dodgy's waking up at 6 a.m. and waiting until waiting for his mom for breakfast, and then he would just run out.
Oh, more like just waiting for my father to give me money to buy his newspaper.
Dad, where's my
What did he
fucking
do?
allowance?
Yeah, he gave me money to buy his newspaper, so I'll be coming back with his newspaper and comic books. But I became such a regular that the guys working at the like as a newsstand or news agent would actually make it look presentable, and they knew that I'd be coming because. I lived in a crime-riddled area. Crime was kind of rampant. Like we were in the most dangerous city in Australia, where I grew up. Yeah,
Wow.
and had to have kids like myself just go there just to be innocent and buy comic books. And they treated me well. And I remember one time I kind of like, I think there was an extra book
Name
that
the
I
shop.
bought.
Please name the shop so
Oh,
we'll give them a shout out. Do you remember the
see,
name?
the thing is, I cannot remember what it was called, but seriously, I don't even
for them
remember
to
the
do
street
that,
name.
whoever you are, thank you for doing that. You
Yeah,
inspired my homie here. You
it
put him
really,
on
it
a
really
path.
did. I'll tell you one story. So I actually bought an extra comic book, and I actually didn't have enough money to buy my dad's newspaper. And the guy's like, "So no newspaper?" And I was like, "Oh, put one of the books back and buy your father's newspaper." That's what he said to me. I was like,
Oh,
"Okay."
well, how
Put one of the
about
books back.
nah? You see, I would have been different. I'm like, I'm gonna give it to you, but I need you to come back within the day for the newspaper money. I would have given you a chance to earn some
Yeah,
money to bring it back. I'll let you take the book
yeah,
before somebody else buys it. Otherwise, I would. You know what though? Even for your loyalty, I may have rewarded you. Like, you know what? You come here all the time. You know what? Take it this time.
yeah. But I was young. Like I know also too. I wasn't really one to swindle anybody. I just thought, maybe I could do something at home and then go back and say to my father, "Oh, I forgot to get the newspaper." Grab an extra 20 cents and then go back. But
20
I
cents.
I kind of like did like the stone face, and then he's like, "Put one of the books back." I was like, "Okay."
Damn. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid, so obviously I was cool with that because I knew I did wrong. But that's the thing. It was those memories would just stick with me. I just remember how cold it was in the morning, but didn't care. I wanted to get those damn comic books no matter what.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So talk about you now. Here you are as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start thinking about stepping into the creative world? Because I know, at least with me, I know when we brought you on the Comic Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I met you as this person from Australia. Yeah, I want to do some reviews. Why not? And this was so many years ago at this point. And look at this.
7 years.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the first Crusaders I met, and he came from Australia, folks, all the way to Boston Comic Con. So, kudos to you, my brother.
Thank
I'm
you.
also happy to have met you in person. To say that Dodgy does exist, folks, it is not an AI.
Yeah.
So here you are. So what made you first want to be a reviewer, and then what made you step into the world of podcasting, which led to this world of you creating? So talk about that journey, Dodgy.
Okay, well, I'll go the latter first because when I was a kid, I was my mother used to draw. She used to draw a lot.
Oh, Mama Tydeman's an artist? Hey.
Yeah, and she would draw me like He-Man, and like I didn't need to buy posters. My mother used to draw us He-Man and
Nice.
all the Master Universe characters, and I used to put them up on the wall because I don't know, it was pretty, like, as a kid that was pretty damn cool. And I became an artist as well, but I was like, I used to watch movies and then I just try to retell stories of movies, and I would try to create new characters for my movies, or I was inspired by like my G.I. Joe toys, my Motu toys, and I would just draw constantly, right? And then when I got my first comic book, like at that time my art endeavors were over. I was drawing until I was like 10 or maybe 11 years old. And when I got into comics at age 14, that drive kind of came back, and I was like, I used to draw for movies and whatever, like in my imagination, and I was like, why don't I do it for comics? So then I started to create my own characters back then, and a lot of characters that you're seeing in this book were actually drawn up probably 1992, 93.
Oh my God, they were 90s characters? Really?
Yeah. That's right. These are all characters I invented.
So they've always stayed in your heart and mind.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then I met Joe Kubert back in, I think it was 2010, and I asked him, I said to him, like, I was like, Mr. Kubert, I've got these like about 50 characters here. I feel like I should be telling my story. What would you recommend? When I told him that, his eyes expanded.
Oh, so dope.
You know,
but folks, please look up Joe Kubert if you don't know who he is. I mean, a fucking legend.
He's a pillar of the industry.
Yeah, okay. Yo, you know what? Even better worded. Absolutely. A pillar.
He's a pillar to the industry. Like you stand him up, and the industry's where it is because
he's a king. He's a king in the industry. Yes.
Yeah. So when I told him that, like, I didn't expect that sort of reaction, and I was like, he goes to me, you know what you got to do? You know, if you like to draw and if you like to write, put on your writing cap first, and then after you've done all that, then you put on your artist cap like this. He actually did that. His exact words, his exact movement, and I was like, man, that was so cool. And I didn't even think like he would even listen to me, but I could tell I got something because his eyes blew up. Like, he's like, 50 characters?
Beautiful.
Like this. Yeah, so, you know, that was amazing.
So I want to start bringing it up because, you know, we need to start, you know, if you impressed Joe Kubert, a legend like that, Dodgy, damn, bro, you are making my heart soar with pride here, because like this is my homie, bro, and I'm so proud. Like, look at this. So talk to us first before I move on. When did this baby come about? What is TydalWave?
So it's a play with my name. I initially had a different name in mind for probably like 10, 15 years, and that was Dried Leaf Studios. And I thought, I don't know, it doesn't really give anything. It was going to just be an image of a leaf, but then I thought it's going to look like a clover leaf, or it's going to look like a maple leaf. I don't want to do that. I want to create something a bit different, a bit original. So then I went with TydalWave. And I know there is another publisher named TydalWave in the correct spelling. So hence why I threw in the studio at the front, because I don't want to be associated. I don't want to.
TydalWave, yes.
StudioTydalWave, that's correct. So, you know, the logo has got the TydalWave. Again, I wanted to be separate from the other company named TydalWave. So yeah, the TydalWave logo is there. It's a play of my name because Tydeman.
Yes.
I was thinking of other names like High Tide or Low Tide, whatever, and I thought, no, I think TydalWave works better.
Yes,
don't want to have water involved, but I got the watercolor right there in the title. Yeah, and I just wanted something simple and something that can be thrown up on a logo somewhere, and you know, not just be in the way, something subtle as well.
Look at that, though. What a sexy logo. And
yeah.
Let's get into her. Epa! This is it. Through any one world on ASAP Imagination, my brother. You had just dropped. Available now on the website. You can get your copy right there. StudioTydalWave presents Origins number 0. Holy effing shit, my brother. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
are doing it. You got Sticks. You got Dash and Frog Boy. You got the First Lady. Please, Dodgy, explain to us the world of StudioTydalWave.
Okay, so it's centered around 3 characters, 3 siblings. First of all is Dash. Dash was meant to be a well, I mean, essentially he's always been a cop, right? But he's a superhero. He's a superhero disguising himself to just fit into the public life and be a police officer. And one of the underlying features of the 3 siblings is the fact that their eyes are yellow. And because their eyes are yellow, one that can see in the dark, and also just it really is just a visual aspect of the DNA that they've been introduced with. I don't want to spoil it because there is an introductory tale in the book that I had to throw in there. So you're getting these 3 stories plus a 4th story that kind of explains where the universe came from and how these characters came into existence. But Dash was like the main character. I wanted to give him a bit of I had the thought in mind, but I was thrown additional influences later in life, like one of which was The Shield. I absolutely loved that show with Vic Mackey, Michael Chiklis. His role in that movie or in that series was phenomenal, and I absolutely loved the shit out of that show. So I wanted to give him a little bit of extra story by him being a fan of the show, and that's what influenced him to become a police officer. So when he's in his thought process of why the world is so different, is because of his influence from watching The Shield and getting a better understanding. His view of The Shield, of the TV series, was his vision of the outside world, because he was capsulated in a world where he is like groomed to be the greatest superhero to ever exist. He was oppressed. He wasn't allowed outdoors. He'd never really actually met another human before.
Oh, damn.
In his world, he's just new. And so in this story, you're just going to get a slight introduction. It's going to be 8 pages introductory story about him and his life and his decision to become a police officer.
Okay.
And I've got to give a massive shout out to Ash Marty for his cover. So if I believe I might have added a slide in there of his original art. He's actually ripping off his Magnum mark, which is the costume that he's wearing, to reveal, yes, there it is, to reveal his police uniform underneath.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I didn't really give him a whole lot. I said he's a superhero who's becoming a police officer. So you know how you usually have the reverse, like Superman ripping open his button-up shirt to reveal the S? Well, Dash is ripping open his superhero costume to reveal his police uniform.
His badge.
And I think that was massively amazing. And
because at the end of the day, not all police officers are bad. Don't blame the few for being ignorant for all of them, because I have friends that are cops and they're very good people.
Exactly. And
oh my God, what is this?
So look, this is not how I draw, but I drew this.
You did this?
Yeah. So I drew this to give Guillermo Villarreal, like, I've got to give a massive shout out to him. He's an amazing artist. He stuck with me. He's like my comic book wife. Like he does everything with me. And,
he's a comic book wife.
He's just the greatest. And I drew this to him to give
him. Shout out, Manny.
What's up, Manny? So to give you an idea with this illustration was just to give Guillermo just an idea of what it is I'm trying to tell.
Beautiful.
I wanted to give him what I wanted. Obviously I want him to be an artist and be flexible in his own right, like do what he does. I need to be flexible. So he just jumps in and does his bit. Some things I agree with and I say, yeah, it's great.
You're making me laugh here though, because just looking at his arms, he reminds me of Wee Man.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, like that was just rushed. Like and that's the outcome. That's what he did.
Oh, look at that! Holy shit! Folks? Look at the image on the third panel, and then look at that. What a fucking difference when you get somebody that actually knows how to draw. Not this is my brother. I'm just saying, Dodgy set out the fucking map. That's what he does. He's the map layer, and then somebody just cleans it up. And
that's
boy,
the thing.
was it cleaned up. This looks great.
Yeah, like the thing with Guillo, and no discredit to him, English is not his first language. So I wanted to work with him because sometimes I want to give him a written explanation as well as a visual explanation. That's what I tried to do, was to help him understand.
Well done, because that translation was like perfect. Look at this.
Yes, exactly.
Look
and
at
I'm so happy.
Panel. Beautiful job.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is this? These are just straight up pencils.
These are just straight up pencils by Guillo. So this is Dash handing in his resignation from the Superhero Academy and moving into his new world of becoming a police officer.
I agree, Manny. Definitely does look great. So Dodgy, I know you've been a fan for such a long time, and you are a person that is celebrating the industry as a whole. So how do you feel now being on the creative side of all this?
I feel like I've been a creator even longer than this. So even
though I have look at that. You know what? Hey, wepa. That's right.
No, I mean, I'm helping. Like, the thing is, I take pride in helping up other creators. Like, I've interviewed many people, even when I was in
you have
the Cover Caves. I interviewed other creators and helped them, and just giving them the platform. And I feel that's a creative process itself, because
you've been a blessing to the independent comic community, and you continue to be a blessing to the independent comic community. Because, folks, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to throw flowers at you, because here you are celebrating indie. So you're the creator of Flipside Focus right now on comiccrusaders.shop, folks. Think Indie Podcast, which is celebrating individual comics. Thundercats celebrating independent publishers. I mean, Dodgy, and here we are. You are an independent creator through ASAP Imagination, through another Crusader. Like, fuck, bro, you are the motherfucking like MLK of independent comics or some shit.
Thank you, bro.
Australia, I appreciate it. I mean, you are, bro. You're really, you don't just celebrate it, you speak it. And thank you for that, my brother. For real, like, I need to say that to you, because it's like when you say like, I love to support independent comics. No, you're not just that. You're also a creator of independent comics, and then on your shows, such as Thundercats and Thinking you got independent comic creators. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, if you want to talk about the king of indie, I think we found them in Dodgy 86 in the mix.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And like, the thing is, I learn on the fly, and I don't really like, I'm not changing my characters. Well, speaking of changing, so got to talk about this fella right here, right? So
does Dodgy 86 in the mix wear bow ties?
He does, actually.
Oh shit! I hate bow ties, but I won't hate you any less. Don't you worry.
Okay, no worries. So, to give you a bit of a backstory with Styx. So, Styx was another character who was influenced by a comic book that I read in X-Force, illustrated by the fantastic Tony Daniel. If you just go to the next page.
No doubt, my brother. I mean, look at him, looking all sexy. That's how Dodgy visits cons. He has two swords and a bow tie.
Exactly. So this was a page from X-Force, and I was like, this team was called Code Blue, and I was like,
bro, redheaded Dodgy. Oh shit.
And you know what, Manny? It's not the first time I've heard that. So kudos to you, bro. You have a good eye. You have a really good eye.
Familia, bro. We know.
Yeah. So this team here, and I was like, wow, like, this looks amazing. Why not have these guys in more issues or in more comics? Like, I thought the team looked amazing. They're like they look like they search for supernatural beings. So it kind of has that X-Force feel to it.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, okay, I want to make a comic book like this. Not exactly the same, but similar. Having a team of supernatural like police officers / investigators. So again, the idea with with Styx was to give him a bit of that Fox Mulder / this dude right here. Because I was like,
bro.
damn, it looks so cool, right?
I sort of wore my trends today. Shit.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the shoulder pads. This is like 1993.
90s, for real, bro. Shoulder
Yeah.
pads all the way, bro, making it look diesel back in the day.
Yeah, and this here in the middle, in the front, in the middle was actually Styx.
Okay.
So that was my original vision of Styx, to make him wear a suit, and to be like a supernatural crime fighter, and he had a team. So we've got on the left, we've got the Cured, or Decay Ray, as I nicknamed him.
Okay.
On the right is Remy. She's like a
So
cyborg.
So basically, in the middle we have Dodgy, and to your and to Dodgy's right we have Lance, and to Dodgy's left we have Tracy, and in the middle, who is that? Johnny? Oh,
yeah, Johnny Hughes as the Hulk.
Yeah, you know what I mean, bro. The machine, bro. There we go.
Yes. So with Styx, right, and this is where I'm coming to change. So when I gave the word to Guillo, like I wanted to create a character named Styx, and he drew him with a mustache, and I was like, ooh. But I'm like, you know what? Keep it. Like, that's what I said to myself. You know what? Keep it, because I think I don't want to have Dash and Styx look the same. I wanted to have them look different.
Gotcha.
So when
you want that Magnum Pi Mustache,
well, I didn't at first, and not initially, but I'm like, like creative freedom. I was like, you know what? If you've got an artist that can make a slight change to the character, stick with it, right?
Celebrate it.
Yeah, celebrate it. So Styx initially had a bow staff. As you can see, he's holding his bow staff there. And then when Kick-Ass came out a few, or maybe 10 or 12 years ago now, I gave him the billy club. So he wears the billy clubs in his back.
Okay.
So if you see him here, he's got billy clubs.
Yes. Yeah. He's like your version of a Nightwing, bro.
Yeah. But he's again, he's he has superhuman abilities. You can see in the dark, but he also has visions of, so for example, if he's in a room, he can have flashback sequences based on evidence that he sees. So he can kind of retell the story of things happening before they happen.
He sees what happens. Okay, bet.
Exactly.
I love this.
Yes. So again, supernatural.
So he's in forensics, right?
Yes, but he's like not legal, because he's friends in the FBI, and his friend is like sneaks him in and lets him and his crew do their investigation part. So so Red is his name of his friend. So Redman will sign off to say, you know what, I give Styx the ability to jump in and have a look, but all responsibility is on me. But he's hoping to get the job done. And this is the pinup from inside Origins as well. So here we see the crew more modernized, and so. And this team is called Spook Stomp. Spook Stomp #1 is going to come out next year. I've already got Guillo on art for Spook Stomp.
Nice. So Stomp.
Spook Stomp.
Spook Stomp. Yeah, bro. So this is horror based?
Yeah, it is horror based.
I love it. I mean, look at that axe, boy. You would think it's Puerto Rican.
Exactly.
And who's the first lady, bro?
Okay, so first lady is like Magnaforce. The story that's going to come after this is my version of the Avengers or X-Men or whatever you want to call it, right? So my super team. This was the team that Dash was destined to lead. Dash was meant to be the leader of Magnaforce, and with Styx is just not competent enough to run in their father's view, he's not competent enough. But I think he's just misunderstood, right?
Okay.
But First Lady is the third choice, but she's probably, in my opinion, the best choice because she's got superhuman strength. She's well disciplined. She is can be a little bit of a loner.
Okay.
And that's part of her adjustment of leading a team, right?
Okay.
So with her, she's left behind, but then so Mercer, their father, is like, you know what, I'm gonna make you the leader.
Okay.
Even if you don't want it. But she's in that space of her life, like she'll do what she's told because she wants to. She feels it's the right thing to do.
Gotcha.
And I was kind of proud of her. There's an image of Mercer. So Mercer is going to come in Magnaforce #1.
Yeah, he looks so He-Man-ish. I love it.
Yes. So Mercer is basically, he is a combination of, say, Professor X and Magneto. Like, he's one that you just don't trust.
Gotcha.
But he is the founding father, and he is the caretaker. So I just want to say
what's going on here? Ooh, sexy page.
So this is a page that we initially created, myself, Guilo, and Marco Pagnotta, the colorist for this.
Yeah.
So initially, this was the original page, and I thought, and also my editor involved, Jennifer DeRoss, she's my editor, and she was very critical about some of the pieces I had, in particular this page. So we had to cut out the top right-hand corner panel because it kind of, like, in her view, it just really didn't make any sense. Okay. And I was like, you know what, that's kind of true. So if you go to the next slide, because you will see an updated panel, and in the updated panel is kind of like, is her thought process about what it would be like to lead, and she kind of wished that her brothers were there. Because if you can see on the you can see the First Lady or Meg. Her name is Meg.
Yes.
So Meg there is on the right, Dash is in the middle, and on the left is Styx. And she kind of was visualizing what it would be like to fight alongside her brothers.
And look at this art, folks. How dope is that art, yo?
Yeah. I'm kind of proud of it.
Talk about your creators, that you teamed up with on this. I mean, the art looks fantastic.
Yeah, so Guilo is a godsend. I seriously, I couldn't work with another artist, in my opinion. He's my Jack Kirby to me. So like, he's my
gotcha.
Yeah, so he's my go-to guy, a fantastic artist. Again, I cannot praise him enough. And we did this pin-up of Magnaforce. So the bottom right-hand corner, you've got Funky Monkey. Again, an old-school character I named nearly 30 years ago. And then we've got, on the left, is La Fantasma. She's a second-generation Mexican magician. So she has the ability to, when she wears her mask, she lets off gases of hallucination, and people think that she's like more sinister and monstrous looking than she really is. Hey. She just fears the shit out of her. And her father did the same. So she's a second generation
hero.
Yeah, and magician as well. And then we've got Buzzkill, or actually I renamed her Buzzchill. So she is an Islamic woman of Pakistani heritage, and she wears the bee helmet over her hijab. So she wears a helmet over her hijab. So, and she wears, she loves to wear bee orientated colors. So it's kind of cool. Got the yellow and black there, and in the back we've got Taipan, who has tattoos literally all over his body. And when he claps his hands like this, the snakes, his body becomes the
I'm dying. My first thought is, when you said that, this is the clap on of superheroes.
Yes. So when he claps his hands, his skin becomes like snake-like, or even sometimes the snake tattoos can protrude from his body as well. And his limbs can stretch. And
who's this? Who's this? Tell me.
All right, so this is Finnegan the Frog Boy. So Finn is a carefree soul. He doesn't really care about anyone in his life, and suddenly he's given these croak pills, and these croak pills transformed him from an average human to Frog Boy.
Frog Boy. Wepa.
Yes.
So
done. Initially, this was a comic book strip. I studied art when I was in school, so I did visual arts, and my teacher was like, everyone's got to create something original, and I decided to make comic books or comic book strips. And I was the only person doing it because everyone's doing, their painting, water paints, acrylic paints. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to do my comic book. Like, I was into comics at the time. Not many people I knew were. And I created comic book strips, and the teacher was like, oh, this is absolutely amazing. I'm going to put this up on all the walls at school. And I was like, are you sure? So one of them was Frog, and his name at the time was Frogman. So Frogman, obviously due to law and keeping the name. Well, I didn't want to really be in any trouble. I was going to go Man Frog. Found out there is a Man Frog, and I'm like, you know what?
There really
Frog
is a
Boy.
Man Frog?
There is a Man Frog, I believe, from I know it's probably in the 1960s.
Wow.
I cannot remember the publisher, but it was basically about a guy in a scuba diver outfit that went in the water. Anyways, so I went with, because I showed this to a friend, and she's like, you should keep doing Frogman, and I was like, I don't know, like, and then at the end, when I started to get my dash all sorted out, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a parody piece for Dash using Frog Boy. But, and the same thing happened with Styx. The same thing happened with First Lady. So when you read my book, you're going to get not one, but 4 Frog Boy short comic strips.
Oh, you hear this, folks? You're going to get like overvalued for your dollars. This is crazy.
So to give a massive shout out, Mike Hardigan is the artist that you saw in the previous page. Unfortunately, Mike had other endeavors to take care of. So what Mike did, he told me, look, you can get someone else to do it. So I hired Nicholas Torres. He was the illustrator for Franklin and Ghost. Yeah. So he drew the other 3, and he said to me,
what was it? Garrett Gunn, right? WG.
Yeah, Garrett Gunn. That's correct. Yeah, so man. when I reached out to Nick, he's like, yeah, he was honored. But when he drew the first one, he said to me, bro, I had so much fun drawing this. Can I do more? And I was like, well, if you want, I've got 2 more. Yeah, I said to him, I've got 2 more if you want. Yeah. So then he did the other 3.
I am digging the set. Look at your journey, Dodgy. I mean, incredible.
And, yeah, I was 16 or 17.
Look at that. Shout out LA, Wepa, LA Cunningham, Wepa. Yeah, is it LA or should we call you La Cunningham? La Cunningham.
LAC.
Lack. No, she doesn't like anything because she's full of skills. Let me tell you about that.
Anyways,
yeah, for real. ASAP Imagination in the building. Shout out.
Thank you. So that Frogman sketch was actually from my my diary that I had for art. So there's a visual arts diary, and that's what the original sketch was. And this one was a more recent picture. When I was told I should try to bring Frogman, or as he was known back then, back to life, I drew this. I tried to give him some. Yeah, I tried to redraw.
I like that. So cartoonish. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea. I don't want to make it serious. I actually want to make it still slapstick.
And there it goes. What an example of slapstick right there.
Yeah, I had so much fun with this. So
talk about the team, kiddo, because I mean, look at this art. Look at this inking. Look at the lettering. Mm-hmm. I mean, talk about this whole panels right here.
Okay, so to be honest, there's only 2 people actually involved in all of this. Wow. So first one is Mike Hardigan from New Zealand. I saw his art on Instagram as well as DeviantArt, and I was like, man, I've got to reach out to this guy. Like I asked him, hey, what's happening, Cap and Puncher?
Captain Poncho, wepa, meta pela, no joda.
So, thank you. I actually hope to do more strips. I wish I had a lot of content that I could actually make this into a webtoon, but time will tell. Time will tell. So this was actually meant to be added to dash number 1. Dash number 0, I beg your pardon, because that was my first story. Then it comes Sticks and then First Lady. So Sticks and First Ladies, Frog Boy has more about what's happening in the story and just adding a punchline to it and making it slapstick, right? And it's it does include a bit of comical violence. Like it's not like it's, but no more violent than what you saw in like an old Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse cartoon from the 1940s. Yeah, because some of those things that nowadays would be questionable, especially holding a gun and things like that. But it does have a little bit of that comical violence to it, but not over the top. It's not gory or anything. So with this here, I had to add it to the other story, the 4th story I threw in. So I added this as basically I've got the introductory to my universe, and then I've got an introductory to Frog Boy, right? And the idea with Frog Boy, you know how in some comic books or some media you really can't put in real life TV shows or real life movies or real life consoles. So everything that I add in there is going to be related to Frog Boy. So Frog Boy is going to be the vision that my characters see on TV and in movies and in video games. So to shout out, and then I did ramble on a little bit, I apologize. But this here, the illustrator Mike Hardigan, absolute genius. I absolutely loved it. He modeled what I wanted, including the noses. I just love Frog Boy's nose, and I know Nicholas has kind of carried that as well in his future art. And then the lettering is by DC Hopkins, and DC Hopkins had done the lettering all the way throughout.
What the fuck? I've heard of DC Hopkins prior. How the fuck did you land, homie?
So I kind of just went a little bit out there and said, hey, went on the Twitterverse and just said, hey, I'm looking for a letter. Anyone interested? Like, simple as that. And he actually said to me, I'm a semi-pro letterer. I've done lettering for, and he showed me images of Titans, Teen Titans, as well as, he did Batman as well. His name's DC, but he actually does work for DC Comics as well as.
And that's funny.
Yeah. As well as IDW. He does lettering for a lot of. But the thing I love about DC is the fact that he was asking me questions, critical questions that I didn't really know the answer to. And I said to him, look, I'm really sorry, DC. I'm a novice here. Like, I know nothing. Like, you got to treat me like a noob. Like, please just. And he was so supportive. He didn't undermine me. And he said to me, look, I don't think this will work. Can you get your colorist to resend me the images, but in a higher frequency? And I was like, okay. So I learned. Thank you, Captain. So he really supported me, and I thought, man, you need that. You need these sorts of people that can support you and guide you. Because, and if you're upfront and just say, look, I am new to this, like what you're asking me, I don't understand. And he came back to me and explained it more properly. So he helped me with the layouts of the pages. He actually helped me out with the logo as well for the front page. He did more than what he was.
They went above and beyond to help support the project, because you know what? At the end of the day, thank you, Dodgy. Listen, we're about to end our show. Mm-hmm. So I just want to say thank you. Look at you. I'm proud of you as a fellow Crusader that you started the world on reviews. Then you said, let me do podcasts. And then you said, let me step into creating my own book. Bro, I mean, what a journey. What a real elevation. I am proud of you. Flowers to you. Thank you for being brave and bold. Because again, not many people are able to do this. Not many people are brave enough to, put themselves out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just thank you, Dodgy. As a fellow Crusader brother, I am
Mm-hmm.
proud of you. As a comic book
Thank
fan,
you.
I thank you for creating
Mm-hmm.
content that's gonna take me out of this world for a minute, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever time it is for me to read that book. Just that you allow me time just to get away, to have
No,
some
thank you.
fun and not think about that every day. So as an
Exactly.
independent creator, kudos to you. I'm proud of you for taking these steps. For real. I mean that. All our
Mm-hmm.
Crusaders are, because we are like so surrounded by creative talent in the Comic Crusaders. And to see each and every one of you, go to the next step, I could only be so proud and feel like almost like a daddy behind this. Like, yo, Papa Bear, like, yo, that's right.
Yeah, no, it's so
Look at
true.
my cats right here. These brothers, my family are making me proud. We don't just talk it, we do it. And like, Dodgy, thank you again. So, last point here in our interview today.
Mm-hmm.
As a newly minted independent creator, what are your best opinions for people also trying to step into the game?
I think just live your dream, because to be honest with you, this Origins book has taken bit too long for me to make and actually pull the plug and actually go through with it, because I did already have the first lot of pages for Dash made in 2015, and it just
Wow.
in the sandbags because I just didn't follow through. And thankfully, I had someone like Guillo who he actually told me, I really enjoy working with you because you have such a big imagination. I want to
Shout
do
out,
more with.
Grillo. Much love, kiddo. Come on to the
Yeah,
show so we can talk about it.
yeah, no, I'd love to have Guillo on your show because obviously, you both can speak Spanish and
Huepa, para que sepan, cara, puñeta, Omega de Isabela, para que sepan. Hey.
yeah, but and I think if you just go through with it, follow through. Even if you don't have all the knowledge, find the knowledge. Watch a lot of the YouTube shows, a lot of undercover capes. Watch the interviews because you're coming across people who are creating as well, and there's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be shortfalls. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be something. But get good people with you. Get an editor. Getting an editor was the best thing for me because Jennifer pulled no punches. She made life hell, and she's like, why?
Ah,
And
ese
I was
sí
sort of
viene
like,
esto.
and I was like this at the end, like, why? But it was good because I had to push myself. If you understand the story, doesn't mean Al's going to understand the story. Doesn't mean Paul's going to understand the story.
Yes.
If you know the story you're telling, and if it's not coming through the right way that other people won't understand, you're destined for failure. So just reach out, hire an editor, hire someone who's going to be critical of you, someone who's going to critique you, because at the end of the day, that criticism can mean that your book is going to be a million times better than the original plan. So, and that's all I can say. I cannot thank everyone enough who's been involved with Studio TydalWave. I hired artists from like all over the world. Um, my
Look at
three
that,
my
yo.
three cover artists from three different countries,
Wow.
the colorist from two different countries. You know,
Wow.
yeah, like it's crazy.
I love
So
it. You see, folks, this is what independent comics is about. It's a celebration, not just independent creation, but a celebration of the world and finding talent from all over it. So, bro,
exactly.
for real, bro. Last piece of advice, then. I always like to end with advice. So,
Mhm.
you've done what you do. So, what's the last thing you can tell any creator? Because here you are, years that we've spoken,
Mhm.
years that we've known each other. Amazing. And now you're doing it,
Mhm.
right? What do you want to tell somebody trying to do it right now?
I think just get pen and paper, get your computer out, and just start writing your story. If you feel like there's something in your mind that you really need to get out there, if you are such a fan, if you're such a fan that you really need to tell your story, just get pen and paper and just start writing. Even if it's just a section of a story, have that.
Yes.
And then if you have something else that comes to mind, maybe another chapter, just write it down, because what you can do in the future is that you can marry them together. You could say, you know what, that first story was great, but maybe not suitable for issue number 1. It might be suitable for issue number 2.
Yeah.
And then you have another story, and then you just write it down and just have it like in just bullet point, and just say, you know what, you can use it in the future. And don't like just be about, it's just something that is going to stay there forever, because it may, what you write down today might look different to what it would be in a year's time. Just write it down on how you feel at this very moment.
Yeah, but you hear that, folks? Those are words of wisdom from a person that has been acclimated in comics for a number of years now, through Comic Crew, through his own endeavors. I mean, Dodgy, again, thank you. I mean, I'm proud of you as a fellow Crusader, as a fellow brother from another mother, as a friend. Like, I can't wait to find these at my local comic shop. I can't wait till you start touring conventions, even if it's in Australia, but you're gonna get it done. I believe it, that, and believe in this that much. So with that, folks, you know what to do. Let me repeat this one last time, because I've been sharing this. I need you to follow Dodgy, because first of all, Dodgy hosts a whole bunch of amazing podcasts and Comic Crusaders. So please check out Think Indie Podcast, which celebrates individual comics, right? Then I need you to go follow Thundercats, which celebrates publishers. And then go to Yana Wepa, where it's me and him motherfucking hanging out, talking madness all motherfucking day. All right?
Absolutely.
So, and then, most importantly, I need you to follow his publishing press, bro. TydalWave. Go to Twitter at TydalWave. TYDA1 Wave. All right. Go follow my homie Dodgy, the number 8, 8-6 in the mix, for real. Is amazing. And of course, follow my big homie Paul, ASAP Imagination.
Yes.
Via this link, you'll go and buy this amazing book right now. And not just TydalWave Studio presents The Origins, but a whole bunch more. So this is actually a big celebration of independent creation and opportunity. So, folks, if you don't know about ASAP Imagination, you better look into it, because this is one of my big bro right here. Dodgy 86 is the mixes involved in this. So, again, bro, Dodgy, anything else we need to be kept aware of? Are you going to be doing any convention in Australia anytime soon? What up, bro?
Well, the convention scene, believe I will be attending one in June, but just as a fan, or even just as a touring, just touring around and talking to independent creators.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to the table soon.
Yes, but can I just say one thing? The end of this year, Dash is having his first solo story called Dash Street Cop #1.
Oh shit! Really? Yes. We're getting a #1, Dodgy.
Yes, Dash Street Cop #1.
Folks, again, pick up the Origins right now, so that way you'll get ready for that book right now on ASAPimagination.com. Check it out. Real talk. Follow Dodgy everywhere. TydalWave. For real, Dodgy 86 in the mix. Check out his shows, and we're about to do episode number 60 of the Yeah Nah Wepa Show, as we talk about this 60 weeks in a row. You feel me, folks? You hear that? All right. So with that, Dodgy, again, just thank you for what you do. I am proud of you, my brother.
Thank you.
I couldn't be happier to see a fellow Crusader making waves, creating their projects, and following their passion. Because hopefully we have been a part of that inspiration. And again, I could not be more proud. So with that, folks, again, this is my homie, my brother from another mother from down under. Wepa, pa que sepan, carajo, puñeta. You better check us out Saturday, every Saturday at 8 p.m. on the Yeah Nah
Wepa
show. And then I need you to go check him out when he does Think Indie Extra on Fridays, Think Indie Podcast every other Saturday, Thundercast every other Saturday after Think Indie. I mean, for real. I mean, Shane right here does not just live the culture of indie. He's a producer of it. He is a celebrator of it. I mean, bro, this is the Stan Lee of motherfucking indie. Like he's really no, Dodgy. You're celebrating indie from Australia in a way that most people don't. So it's really important for you to celebrate all these amazing up and coming creators the way that you do. So thank you for allowing my platform to host what you do. I love you for that. And I'm only going to ever celebrate you and my big homie Paul from ASAP and everybody involved in ASAP Imagination. Please check out everyone from that platform because believe you me, you're going to be extremely satisfied that the world of indie could be no better, for real. So, Dodgy, I'm going to hang out with you in another hour. So you do what you do. And with that, thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight to this very special, for me, Comic Crusaders podcast, as I host my 186 at that, as I host my fellow brother from Yana Web Off of Comic Crew Undercover Capes. Yo, bro, for real. I really mean that. I love you, kiddo. I like enthusiastic of what you do. I need signed copies of everything you got because, bro, I'll put that shit on the wall too. On my wall of fame. Like, this is my brother right here. So thank you again, everybody. You all rock. Yo, LA Cunningham, thank you, yo. Yeah, for real. I mean, you part of that launch, LA. You part of that launch. You be helping ASAP. You like a boss yourself, LA. You got amazing books. So with that, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hang out with us at Yana Web Show all the time. But this is all about Dodgy. No, not even Dodgy. I'm sorry. He doesn't want me to say that. This is all about Shane Tydeman. My brother from another mother. Shane, thank you again for your time. Thank you for doing what you do. You are incredible. You are the future. And I can't wait to see this shit on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon.
Oh, God, I wish that would be.
Let's manifest that shit, motherfucker. It's going to be on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon one day. With that, I love you, my brother. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And with that, hasta la próxima. Later, my people.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.